The Revolutionary War. The Revolutionary War was a pivotal moment in American history. It marked the beginning of the United States of America, and its victory over the British Empire paved the way for it to become the global superpower it is today. This war was full of twists and turns, and the battles fought and strategies employed by both sides were key contributing factors to the eventual outcome. Let's take a look at some of the most important battles and turning points of the Revolutionary War, and explore how they shaped the course of history. The Battle of Lexington and Concord. The Battle of Lexington and Concord, fought in April of 1775, marked the start of the Revolutionary War. The British had sent troops to the American colonies in order to seize stockpiles of arms and gunpowder. They were met with fierce resistance from the colonists. The battle began at Lexington, where the American militia was outnumbered and outgunned. Despite being heavily outnumbered, the militia managed to hold their ground and delay the British until reinforcements arrived from Concord. The British were eventually forced to retreat, and the Americans had won their first victory of the war. The Battle of Bunker Hill. The Battle of Bunker Hill was fought in June of 1775. The British forces were attempting to seize an important hill in order to gain a strategic advantage in the conflict. The American militia managed to delay the British advance for a considerable amount of time despite being outnumbered and outgunned. The Americans eventually retreated, but not before inflicting heavy losses on the British. This battle showed that the American militia could stand up to the might of the British Army, and was a major morale boost for the colonists. The Battle of Saratoga. The Battle of Saratoga was fought in October and November of 1777. The British forces had advanced deep into American territory, and were attempting to break the resolve of the Continental Army. The American forces, led by General Horatio Gates, managed to delay the British advance with a series of successful defensive maneuvers. Eventually, the British were forced to retreat, and the Continental Army had won a crucial victory. This battle was a major turning point in the war, as it led to the French joining the war on the side of the colonists. The Siege of Yorktown. The Siege of Yorktown was the final major battle of the Revolutionary War. The British forces were attempting to break the Continental Army's siege of the city, but were unable to do so. The American and French forces, led by General George Washington and the Comte de Rochambeau, eventually forced the British to surrender. This victory marked the end of the Revolutionary War, and the beginning of a new nation. The battles fought and strategies employed by both sides were key contributing factors to the eventual outcome. The Battle of Lexington and Concord marked the beginning of the war, and the Battle of Bunker Hill showed that the American militia could stand up to the British Army. The Battle of Saratoga and the Siege of Yorktown were major turning points, as they led to the French joining the war on the side of the colonists and the eventual surrender of the British forces. These battles and turning points were instrumental in the formation of the United States of America, and their legacy is still felt today.